Hi, it's Wednesday again. I'm Coach Jackie, and this is Ask the Author, the session where we go through and review my Dream Journey book. I hope you had a good day. In today's session, we are going to be looking at how people build resilience. In the last 9 sessions, we have spent time thinking about our vision, thinking about where we would like this journey that we are on to take us. We have looked at some of the ways in which we can ensure that we are on the right track. We have looked at some of the ways in which we can prioritize. We have assessed our passion and our motivation for the things that we are seeking on this journey. And if we are to use the analogy of reaping what you sow, we could say that ultimately what you get out of life is what you put into it. We also know that if we are talking about planting and caring for crops in order to harvest, we are also talking about hard work. It's backbreaking. You sweat, you get tired. And therefore, you need to have some way of renewing your energy, some way of resting, and just ensuring that you stay motivated, ensuring that you're on track to harvest whatever it is that you have sown. And so in today's session, I will actually be looking at 4 chapters in one go, because the 4 chapters are dedicated to how people build resilience. And unlike the other chapters, this is a chapter, or this is a session where I draw from experiences that people shared with me and that they allowed me to use in the book. And looking at these 4 chapters, I would summarize 4 strategies that people told me that they use in order to build their resilience, to make sure that when things go wrong, as they often do, as they will inevitably do, they can get right back up and keep going. And the 4 strategies are gratitude, friendship, hope, and renewal. Now, that is not to say that those are the only strategies. These are the strategies that I deducted from what people shared with me. Thinking about what you have achieved, how far you have gone, is something that people say that really helps them to stay motivated when things go wrong. It's really that age-old story of asking, is the glass half full or half empty? If you see the glass as half full, it is a sign of optimism. It is a sign that you are grateful for what you have. And so what I would like to encourage you to do is to maybe take some time and make a list of all the good things that you have. Whatever situation you are in, find the good in that situation. Ask yourself, what might have been worse, or what can I learn from this situation, or how is this situation building me for the future? Because when you experience things that build you for the future, that's something positive. And just consciously recognize these things and be grateful for them. You can show gratitude to people by thanking them. You can thank people for all sorts of things. You can thank people for being a part of your life. You can thank people for things that they give you, things that they do for you. You can thank people for, not making you explain yourself. You can thank people for just, making you feel good about yourself. There are so many ways in which you can thank people. And when you thank people, you also build them. So whereas the act of thanking people or being grateful is building you, when you transfer that gratitude to somebody else, you are also building them. Think about the things that you have achieved. Think about how far you have gone and all the obstacles that you have overcome. And, just make a conscious effort. Just spend a little bit of time, slow down a little bit and just say thank you. Thank you for, for all these things and for all these people and for all the lessons that you have learned. And in the book, I also share some of the, maybe I could call them gratitude practices that some people implement. And if you have the book, you will find them on page 90. For example, if you're sharing a meal as a family, you could ask everyone around the table to share something that they're grateful for. Perhaps it's something that happened on that day or on another day. Something that I like to do is at the beginning of the year to have the family sit in a circle and appreciate each other, So you have to find something to appreciate about, everybody else. And this is not a moment for saying, okay, yes, this I appreciate this about you, but no, this is really 100% appreciation. And it's amazing how good you feel when you reach out to people to just simply appreciate them, see the good in them, express to them how much you value them. You can do this as often as you want. You could also keep a gratitude journal. Write down something that you're grateful for every day. Write down something that went right every day. Find positives in things that maybe didn't go so well. And, you can always go back to this journal when things are not going so well. In the book, one of the people who contributed to the book, really shared a story about her upbringing and how she felt rejected in so many ways. But what stood out for me in her story is that she looks back and she identifies people who stood in the gap for her. So as she's telling this story, she's not focusing on the rejection. She's not focusing on the things that went wrong. She is actually focusing on all the good things that she identifies along the way. And for me, this is also a very powerful way in which we can practice gratitude. So perhaps as a reflection, you could ask yourself, who has stood in the gap for you when things were not going so well, or when people that you are expecting to deliver for you in one way or another failed you. This will go a long way to helping you build resilience. When you're able to draw on the good things, even in a bad situation, you get into the habit of, looking for the good in difficult situations. When things are really, really difficult, it can help you to have hope, which is another of the 4 strategies that I found in the stories that people shared with me, or in the stories that I was able to discern from the things that people spoke to me about. And hope can also be seen in the understanding or the fact that it's never too late. You cannot say, I'm too old to achieve my dream. I'm too old to start all over. I'm too damaged, to become a different person, or I have gotten so used to doing things this way, I cannot change. Hope is really something that allows you to believe that there's a better tomorrow. And if you couple that belief with some of the strategies that we have looked at in the previous chapters, where you are, trying to look at what are the things that might come in the way, and really putting in place plans to try and avoid those things. If you couple this hope with, really trying to build skills that you need for you to achieve your desired future, if you couple this hope with a passion, a strong belief that yes, you can achieve whatever it is that you're looking at, hope will not let you down. And in the book, we have the story of a lady, a woman who actually went on pilgrimage to the Holy Land, traveled for 2 weeks at age 79. you know, and people who traveled on this pilgrimage with her will tell you that even officials at immigration stations and at the different places, they were like, why would you start now, you know, but why not? So have hope. Believe that that future that you're working towards, that future that you dream of, that future that you have planned for, you have prayed for, you are so motivated about, you know, there's no limit on when it can happen. As long as you're alive, there's a future. So have hope. And people have shared that having hope and believing that whatever future they desire is somewhere, and that they will reach it, helps to build their resilience, and it helps them to you know, to get out of difficult situations and to believe that a better day is coming. Another story that I really like that was shared with me when I asked people to tell me how they build resilience is really a story of friendship. The people who will go out of their way for you, the people who have your back, people who have known you forever, people you don't need to explain yourself to. But for me, that is not really the story. That is not really the strategy. It's about how do you make yourself, or in what way are you this kind of person for your friends? When things are really tight, you know that there are certain people you can reach out to and they will not let you down. You know that there are certain people that you can ask for help and they will not start, you know, giving you a lecture that you don't have to explain yourself to them. Are you this kind of person to someone? Friendship, being a good friend, honoring your friends, nurturing your friendships is one way that people said to me helps them to build their resilience. That moment when you are down, or that moment when you're confused, or that moment when you just want someone to understand what you're going through without, you know, you're having to ask them. These are not people that just come out of nowhere. These are relationships that are nurtured over time. These are relationships that are built on meaningful connections. These are relationships that that require, you know, a giving on your part and on the part of the other person. And so as we look at friendship as a strategy for building resilience, my challenge to you is ask yourself, what kind of friend are you? One of my favorite books ever is a book that was written by a lady called Mariama Ba. It's titled Une si longue lettre, so long a letter. I read it many years back. And this is a long letter that this lady writes to a friend with whom she has had a friendship that has endured years and miles. And you know, I just love that story as a symbol of what friendship can be, especially when you find yourself in a situation where you really have to bare your soul. You really feel perhaps used or misunderstood. But it doesn't have to be this kind of friendship, and it doesn't have to be about, you know, writing long letters and things like that. It's just about asking yourself, how do I give meaning to the people that I call my friends? And you know, friendship is not about talking every day. It doesn't have to be that, but it's really just about having those connections, sharing, you know, meaning, and being in a place where you know that when you reach out for someone, they'll be there, or when they reach out for you, you're going to be there for them. It reminds me of this exercise that often happens when team building activities are taking place. Some of you might have done that, where they ask you to trust your team and they ask you to close your eyes and your team lifts you up and throws you into the air, and you just know that when you come back down, they're going to be there for you. There's nothing like that feeling when you know that there are people in your life that can do that for you, but more importantly, where you're confident that there are people who know that you are also in a state where you can give the same confidence to them. So nurturing friendships is actually something that I know I have experienced as something that can really help to build your resilience. And a lot of people have also shared with me that this is something that really helps them to get through stuff, that really helps them to stay motivated and, to keep their eyes on the prize. And the fourth strategy I'm going to call renewal. In the book, the chapter is actually titled Quiet Time. And it's really just about being able on a regular basis to step back and just, refill your jug, if I may put it that way. If you have visitors in your house and you're going around with a jug serving them juice or water, and when the jug gets empty, you must refill it. Otherwise, there'll be nothing to give to your guests. And this is really what renewal is talking about. There are people for whom, just getting away from the crowd or getting away from the traffic or going, to the beach or up country or, maybe camping in the forest, this does it for them. But it doesn't even have to be a physical separation from the things that you do every day. It could just be a few moments. It's really a question of developing a habit of slowing down, whichever method you use to slow down, and really allow yourself to re-energize. Taking a moment to reflect on, whatever is happening, taking a moment to renew your commitment to, the desired future, taking a moment to listen to your body, to listen to your soul, it really helps to build your resilience. It really helps you to get in touch with yourself. Because when things are really, really, really tough, you will find that you need to know which places within yourself you can reach into to find the strength that you need for the moment, to find the peace that you need for the moment, to find the ways in which you can recreate joy if joy has fled from your space. And people find renewal in different ways. People can create quiet time in different ways. So it's not a question of, having to do it in the way that one person does it, but really just being able to stay still, to stop and see yourself in a very authentic way, without distraction, without noise. And it could be physical noise or just mental noise. And for me, this is one strategy that I really swear by, where every now and then just taking a break from things. And we're not talking about days, it could even just be minutes. And sometimes people ask, how can I build quiet time? How can I create that renewal? How can I find that renewal? Make it a priority. Pencil it into your diary. If you're in an office, you could teach people not to walk into your office when your door is closed, for example. If you have children, you could teach them to read certain signs. Maybe you tell them at this moment, or you announce to them that I'm taking a break. Unless there's a fire somewhere, please don't disturb me. So you help people around you to respect that quiet time or that separation from noise. But you can also exploit natural breaks. I guess this is why you find during New Year, people make resolutions. This is a way of re-energizing. So you can take opportunities such as a New Year or your birthday to just reflect and, re-energize. Some people swear by taking a walk or jogging. Somebody says, when I'm jogging, it's just me and the noise that my footsteps are making. And at the end of the jog, you just feel renewed. But sometimes it's also just a question of, creating a certain routine. Some people wake up early in the morning when it's very still and quiet, and maybe they meditate or they read or they pray. The idea is to find the way that works for you, that allows you to re-energize, that allows you to take a break from noise and routine. Because sometimes in the middle of chaos, when things are not going right, being able to create an island of stillness and serenity around yourself is the only way that you can survive, if I may put it that way. So I want to leave you with, this question. How are you going to build, or how do you build quiet time or renewal time or, reflection time into your journey? Whatever it is that you're pursuing, however you see your desired future, how are you stepping back every now and then to renew yourself, to review where you're going, to check and see whether you're still on the right path, to check and see whether you still want the things that you wanted yesterday, 3 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm going to end there, and I want to thank all of you people who have been here with me: Mshai, Pauline, Nelly, Patrick, Winnie, Inviolate, Margaret. Thank you very much. Next week, we're going to have our last session before I take a break. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can always send them to me. Have a nice evening.